Jesus in the desert. And we see that he was tempted by the same types of things that we're tempted by. Money and power and control. Money, power, and control. But Jesus relies on his relationship with God. I don't live by bread alone, he says. Don't test God, Jesus says. Worship only God, Jesus says. Jesus is tempted 3 times, and he's able to resist every time. See, we begin Lent with Jesus in the desert, facing temptation and overcoming. We begin Lent, this solemn time of year, where we know we're looking forward to the death of Jesus. We begin that season with a story of hope. We don't begin it with a story of failure. We begin it with a story of hope. Jesus overcame temptation, and so